Hello, my name is William MacDonald. I live in a little town called Leighton Buzzard. I'm almost 33 years of age, and I currently work for a local council with adults with learning difficulties. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my experience as a youngster, how I used to abuse myself with drugs such as ecstasy, LSD, amphetamines, cocaine. I was also into bodybuilding for a time, so I used to also use anabolic steroids. I'd like to tell you a little bit of how my life has been transformed by the power of a new friend that I found called Jesus Christ, and how he has transformed my life and filled my heart with a hope and a purpose and a future. One day I remember sitting outside the front of my parents' house, smoking a fag and drinking a cup of tea, and I remember looking up into the sky and seeing all of these stars and thinking what an amazing view that was. And I suddenly started asking myself the question, surely there has to be more to life than this. There has to be a purpose for all this little small earth and this great big universe. And the best way I can describe to you what happened next, I suddenly had such a strong awareness of the presence and reality of God, who was concerned about me and concerned for my life. I'd left a very low moral point up until this stage of my life. I got back up, went inside the house, and saw a magazine of my mum's on the side. It was a picture of Ethiopian children covered in flies, and they were starving. And I just remember looking at them and tears blooded down my cheek. And God started to work in my heart. My heart softened from that night onwards. And after that night, that experience that I had, I never suffered from anxiety or panic attacks again. Well, about 2 weeks after this experience, I remember picking up a New Testament that I'd been given at middle school by the Gideons. And I started to read the Gospels. And as I was reading, it was as if the words that were on the page came alive and were really speaking into my situation and into my heart and my mind. And I just knew this Jesus who I was reading about was who he said he was, the Son of God, and that he was indeed alive, and he was concerned for my life. And I realised that he had indeed died on the cross so I could be forgiven for my sins, and he had indeed been raised from the dead so that I could have the promise of eternal life. Jesus Christ has transformed my life. He's given me a new heart, and he has filled my heart with hope, joy, peace and purpose. And I know what God has done for me, he can do for you if you'll let him.